Okay, here's a good question, just to give you the idea of um, rotation. So when you start looking at a question like this, and they call this the unit circle, and other courses do lots more with the unit circle, but unit circle, basically you start here at the positive x-axis, and a positive rotation is going up, and a negative rotation is going down. Ours is a positive rotation. Okay, so just to give you an idea of where things are at, if I go all the way around, that would be 360 degrees. But we've also seen that all the way around is 2 pi. And if I say all the way around, I can also call that one revolution. So if they tell me I've got 5/4 pi, and where is that in terms of going around the circle? So there's a number of different ways to do that. And most of us think in degrees, and so degrees might be the best thing to do. So what you can do is just take the 5/4 and convert that using these ratios into degrees. So 5/4 pi radians. Now I want to multiply by a conversion ratio um, so that I get degrees out. So degrees go on top, that's what I'm wanting. And I want to get rid of the radians, so I'll put 2 pi on the bottom. So if you multiply and divide that on your calculator, I think that comes out to 225 degrees. So if I start here and I go up, there's 90, 180. It looks like 225 would be somewhere in there. And so I'd probably be picking that one right there. Now, let's look at a couple other questions that you might come up to. How about it says choose the unit circle that you've got a point determined by, say, 2.3. And they don't give you any units, and so you have to assume that the units are radians. So you can do the same thing, just convert it to degrees and then figure out where that is. So to convert it to degrees, again, I want to get rid of radians, so I'll put 2 pi on the bottom, and I'll get 360 degrees on the top. Let me do that on my decimals here. So 2.3 times 360 divided by 2 pi. Okay, so 131, call it 132 degrees. So 132 degrees. So if I'm on a quadrant, I start here, this is 90. 180 is all the way over, right? So it's not that far. So it's 90 plus another 40. It's probably in there somewhere, is where 2.3 radians would be. Okay, another question that they might give you something like, how about 521 radians? Where is that? Well, I know that 6.28 radians, or 2 pi, is the same as one revolution. So if they give me 521, that's like going around the circle a ton of times. And what you can do in decimals or a calculator is to figure out how many times you're going around and then how much of another revolution you're doing. So I'm going to type out 521 and I'll divide it by 2 pi. And what that does is it gives me, actually, let me do it a different way. I'm going to do it the same way as I did before. So times by, but instead of converting it to degrees, I'm going to convert it to revolutions. So one revolution per 2 pi. Okay, so 521 times 1 divided by 2 pi. There we go. So that tells me that 521 radians is the same as 82.92 revolutions. So it'd be 82 times going around, and then 0.9 of another revolution. So that last 0.9 would probably be, maybe about there of a revolution. If you wanted to, you could go just the 0.92 part and times it by 360 to see what the degree equivalent of that would be. Let me just try that. So the 0.92 times 360, and that 331. So I'm in the right ballpark. Okay, hopefully that helps you in your conversion from radians to degrees, or pi radians to degrees, or whichever of those that you need to do to find where it is on a unit circle.